All right, before we dive in, let's take a good look at the data that we're going to be using. Now, I wanted to make this a very real world experience. So, as I mentioned, all of the classes that I teach are going to use the same data, and we're going to focus on Ithaca, New York, and Tompkins County, New York in particular. The reason for this is it's a beautiful city, it's where I was from, and it's got a lot of things that resemble what you might encounter in your home area as well. There's county governments, city governments, school districts, fire departments, there's soils, there's natural resources, there's infrastructure. So all of this data is there. And the other thing is, like a lot of what we're experiencing with GIS now, data comes from all over the place. So we're going to get a majority of our data from Tompkins County, New York, and it's going to look at the parcels and the buildings and those sorts of things. But I'm also going to grab data from repositories. So things like the Cornell University Geospatial Information Repository, they have a lot of data. We'll be grabbing data from that location as well and pulling it in. We'll download it, but we'll also look at it live over the internet. OpenStreetMap makes for great data sets to use for backgrounds, as well as downloading some of that data and integrating it with our own. As I mentioned, the city of Ithaca is a part of Tompkins County, so we're going to look at their data. Again, where you live, you might have different communities that can help contribute data. We also are going to look at soil data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture or the NRCS, so bringing that stuff in as well as the United States Geological Survey that has data. So lots of different data that we can look at to begin to explore our area. So what does that look like? Well, here's the data right now, and you can see the different municipalities that are in here. And this data actually is coming from as a KML, as a GeoJSON. So we'll look at different data types. We also have school district data, and the school district data is coming as an ESRI geodatabase. So we have all the different school districts that are coming into play. We also have different watersheds that are around the Ithaca area as well, and the soil data. And this is really, really dense kinds of data that we'll be working with. So you can see all the different soil polygons that come up. We're going to include things like the fire stations as well. You can see a fire station here. Also, the watersheds are going to be a shapefile. The soil database is going to be data that comes out of SQLite or Spatialite. So we'll be reading directly out of a database. The fire stations are going to be a shapefile as well. You can also see that we're going to have the roads layer that's in here. And we'll zoom in a little closer to see some of that. There we go. So you can see some of the road center lines that come about. In fact, I'll make that a little bit darker for us so we can see it a little bit better. And there you can see the roads that have come up. Also, you can see the individual buildings of homes that are in there, as well as the parcels. And in this case, again, the buildings are a shapefile, and the roads are also a shapefile. The parcels come from a geodatabase from the county. And I'll also zoom to some of our raster data. Here's a group of data. Let's turn some of our other layers off and turn the raster on. So these are digital elevation models of the area, and we're going to do some raster processing. You can also see the extent. This is a very large county. And all the data is going to be located in your training directory under Tompkins. And we have, again, a folder of our geodatabases and some other data that comes from, here's the KML, as well as our soil data, which is in Microsoft Access. We also have our raster data, which includes all of our USGS DEMs, a bunch of shapefiles, as well as the SQLite databases. And I'll also have different files that you'll click on to open up a map file so that you can, or a QGIS file, so you can start to look at all the data together. Here's the deal. This is real. It's real data, it's large amounts of data, sometimes it's messy data. It also includes attributes as well as the graphics. So there's a lot of different things that we're working with. It comes from different sources. I want you to get a real experience of using QGIS in a real world environment. And that's why this class does not have the data all perfect and set up just nice for you. I want you to act and think like a GIS professional, pulling data in from other places and then working on it collectively between all of us working on this together, and you'll follow along with me so that you can actually have confidence that you can take data from multiple sources in multiple formats and actually make a useful product with it. And you'll see that QGIS can allow you to do that.